That Vikings-Packers game on Sunday. Now, this is not a sports channel. I cover human interest stories, cultures, social commentary, but sports can be a window to many of these topics. And in this case, on this game, it revealed, like so many other Minnesota sports teams do, something important and defining about our culture. So here we had the Vikings on Sunday. They were more talented, better prepared, and they were up against a scrappy Packers team with a wobbly quarterback who was just recovering from an injury and making mistakes early on. So the Vikings capitalized for an almost unheard of 28-0 lead. But then things started to happen. A drop punt by the Vikings, a bad throw by their quarterback, and yeah, some unfortunate calls along with some good plays by the Packers, and they stormed right back in the second half to be right back in this game. In the final quarter, the Vikings were like, okay, enough of this, and they rattled off a bunch of yards from their star players, making it a two-score game with under 7 minutes to go. But then they got soft again, giving up huge chunks of yards, and even 2 turnovers by the Packers in that stretch wasn't enough to put them away for good. So with 2 minutes to go, the Packers drove 96 yards for another touchdown. And the Vikings only held on to win because the desperation onside kick, which hardly ever works, didn't work for the Packers. So what do we have here? Well, we have in the Vikings what we've had for decades. Some of the best talent in the league, good coaching, good game plan, teams that regularly make the playoffs. But what doesn't Minnesota regularly do? Finish games strong. Go in for the kill shot when their opponent is weak. They get to play defensively, just trying not to lose. They get tight. Worst teams with heart come back, and good teams in big moments steal wins. This is cultural. And I'm really tuned into this because I just finished a story that's coming out this Sunday that examines Minnesota's culture historically, why it's done so well in the past, but why it's struggling today. Like the Vikings, Minnesotans are known for their hard work and talent and competence, but also their hesitancy and indirectness. Today, when the world is much more dynamic, diverse, conflicted, Minnesota suddenly isn't doing too well. Talent only takes you so far. Getting tight under pressure eventually defeats you. So back to the Vikings, I don't like the chances of them ever winning a Super Bowl unless they can somehow overpower the surrounding culture that I think seeps into their team. I know it seems far-fetched that a state's or a city's culture could echo through their sports teams, but I think there's a reason Minnesota is the major market with by far the longest championship drought of the 4 major sports. So Minnesota as a state, I think will have to shake this culture and try to find some new ways to deal with these more uncertain, riskier times. I touch on some of these ways in my story out in the Star Tribune this Sunday. For the Vikings, I am skeptical about Kevin O'Connell's nice guy energy. As great a coach as he is, and as good of a team as the Vikings have, this early success seems all too familiar. I think we need some Bill Cowher or old Mike Ditka to try to overcome the softer nature of our culture. But I'd happily be wrong if the Vikings can break history